Well, let's talk more about the charges the suspect will be facing. Here's Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer.
The suspect is eligible for life without the possibility of parole or death. The reason I was there is because at some point in time down the road, I will have to determine as a district attorney whether or not we will be seeking death.
All right, let's now bring in the district attorney himself and, of course, Phil Schuman into this conversation. District Attorney Spitzer, thank you for being with us tonight. What an emotional couple of days it has been. Let's, in fact, start there. The heroism that we saw yesterday unfold. You talked about arriving to the scene yesterday, how gripping, how heart-wrenching that was. What stood out to you the most?
There was a cane on the table that was abandoned, and it signified to me that the individuals in that room, the elderly, were doing everything to flee the premises as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, those doors were all chained closed, and so they had nowhere to go. And they were literally locked down in that room. And but for the fact that Dr. Cheng, he was the youngest individual probably in that room, 40 years old, when he went over to subdue the subject, he was shot. That gun malfunctioned, and because of the malfunction, that was the only ability then the others had to grab onto the suspect. But for the fact that that gun jammed, I know that a lot more people would have died.
You talk about the charges. You mentioned the death penalty. Is there any reason why you wouldn't pursue the death penalty?
The death penalty is the most solemn punishment we have in society. And certainly that's not a judgment I'm going to be rushed into making. This is a very, very serious crime. And I'm looking at both the trauma and the impact to the victims. At the same time, I'm obligated and will consider his age, whether or not he had a criminal background, other mental issues that may have been going on. I mean, that's what you want from your district attorney. I'm responsible for balancing the interests of justice. And then you add on the layer, what do the victims want? What does the widow want? What does the mother, Dr. Cheng's mom, who was there as well, she just lost her son and she's a widow. She just lost her husband. So, you know, she may not want this trauma to go through this kind of proceeding. So I have to take all these factors into consideration.
Phil, out to you.
Well, we may be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here because the suspect hasn't yet come to court. But when you talk about the death penalty, and I listened closely to what you were saying today, we don't have a death penalty in California. There's a moratorium. We haven't executed anyone in 15 years. So I'm not sure why that was one of the first things you brought up.
Because I wanted people to understand, Phil, that he is eligible. Tomorrow we will be charging him. He will be arraigned. I mean, we're going to charge him with 1 count of murder with the use of a gun, 4 counts of attempted murder on the, 5 counts of attempted murder on the other individuals. The murder with the gun will be while he's lying in wait and plan the murder. That is a special circumstances case, a special circumstances murder. And so he's eligible for life without the possibility of parole or death. This is a death penalty case, Bill. I understand what the governor has done. He won't be the governor forever, but I also understand that the public has voted for to keep the death penalty. Look, I'm not here to argue the death penalty tonight, but tomorrow he will be charged, and we will go through the process of doing what's in the best interest of justice and the desire and take into consideration the victims' concerns and what they would like to see as well.
Something that struck me watching you live today during the noon hour, we did bring that to our viewers live, and there you were side by side with the sheriff of Orange County. You had other people there representing, of course, from other parties. The point of what I'm trying to make here is there was such a unified front, something that you wouldn't necessarily see in Los Angeles County. So when you're working a case like you are on this one, how important is it to have that unified front?
I'm literally doing this interview right now from Christ Our Redeemer Church in Irvine. We just had a prayer vigil, bipartisan, with pastors of all denominations, Mayor Farrakhan, the Democratic mayor of Irvine is here. The sheriff is here. I mean, look, this is about a community coming together. This isn't about partisanship. At the end of the day, I've been doing this work of being a government leader for 30 years. Our job is to protect the public and to make sure we're safe. Everybody, irrespective of party or ethnicity or race or sexual orientation, everybody deserves to be safe. And we are grieving tonight because of the loss of Dr. Cheng. We're celebrating the heroism, but I offered a prayer tonight to say, listen, we need to pray for those individuals also who are shot. We have a lot of people who are going to be going through some very, very serious recovery, and we want to make sure that they heal and get better.
And lastly, if Dr. Cheng hadn't have been there, if he hadn't have rushed that gunman, how much worse would this situation have been?
Oh, I can tell you, there was at least, I think, 15 magazines fully loaded of 9mm. There were 2 9mm weapons recovered. He had explosive devices. He had locked the doors. He was ready to engage in a war. If that gun had not malfunctioned after he shot Dr. Cheng, I do not believe that he would have been subdued. I believe that he would have overcome everybody with force. His goal, in my opinion, and it's still early in our investigation, but it's my opinion tonight that he would have slaughtered everybody in that room, and then he probably would have set the church on fire.
Wow. Quite something. Thank you very much for taking a few minutes to join us in the midst of that service. And please pass on our love to everybody in Orange County that is mourning tonight. DA Todd Spitzer, thank you.
Thank you so much.